Right. Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today. We're going to be looking at all sorts of cool stuff, actually.
Yeah.
Human genetic variations.
Oh,
That's what
yeah.
we're going to be focusing on today. And
Okay.
specifically, we're looking at the top 10
Right.
variations, easily observable ones that really have an impact on
Yeah.
people. So
Right.
I'm excited.
Me too. I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, it should be fun. Get ready to be surprised by
Yeah.
just how diverse we are as humans.
Yeah. And the thing that always gets me is like we're 99.9% genetically similar.
It's crazy.
All humans. It's that tiny 0.1%
Right.
that makes all the difference.
It's wild. Okay, so let's start with something pretty obvious, something we can all see. Skin color.
Okay.
We all know it's about adapting to sunlight. Like that's kind of the basics, but like what's the genetic backstory there?
Well, it's not just about melanin, which is that pigment that gives our skin its color. It's actually specific gene variants, like we see in the MC1R gene. These can actually affect how much melanin our bodies produce. Oh,
And how it's distributed.
Yeah.
And so these variations have really been shaped by thousands of years of evolution.
Wow.
And that determines, our skin tone, our risk of sunburn, even skin cancer.
So it's really like our ancestors' environments just leaving their mark
It's written in our DNA.
on us. That's pretty cool. All right. Well, speaking of cool traits,
Yeah?
what about eye color? We got brown, blue, green, hazel. Is all just like cosmetic? Is there something more to it?
I mean, melanin plays a role in eye color too, but it's largely cosmetic, right? It reflects just the amount and type of melanin we have in our irises.
Okay.
But there are some rare cases where eye color can actually signal an underlying genetic condition.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good reminder that even simple traits like that can have hidden depths.
Yeah, for sure. It's like they're sending us messages.
Exactly.
Little genetic messages. Okay. Well, let's move on to hair. We got curly hair, straight hair, coily hair. It's our hair can definitely tell a story. So what can our hair texture tell us about our genes? Well, so there are some connections between certain hair textures and genetic disorders.
Okay.
But it's important to remember that this doesn't always mean that there's a problem. So like the TCHH gene that can influence curl patterns, but it doesn't necessarily mean there's a health concern.
Right. Okay, good. Good to know. So let's get a little more serious for a second. Let's talk about blood type.
Okay, yeah.
We all know that if you get a mismatched blood transfusion,
It can be really dangerous.
yeah, it can be deadly. What's the genetic side of this?
So our blood type is determined by what's called the ABO and RH factor system.
Okay.
And that's what's so important for transfusions. And it's governed by specific genes that determine if certain antigens are present on red blood cells.
Okay.
But did you know that blood type has also been linked to certain diseases and conditions?
Really?
Yeah. Like if you have type O blood,
Uh-huh.
you might have a higher risk for stomach ulcers.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, let's switch gears just a little bit here. Let's talk about something we all do every day. Well, some of us do every day. Lactase persistence.
Why is it that some people can just chug milk
Why?
without a problem and other people, it's like,
Instant trouble.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's all about an enzyme, right?
Yes, exactly. It all comes down to lactase.
Yeah.
That's the enzyme that breaks down lactose, the sugar in milk. And get this, most mammals, including us, humans,
Okay.
we naturally lose the ability to produce lactase after infancy.
Ooh,
But some populations evolve to keep producing it into adulthood,
fascinating.
so they can digest milk with no problems.
Yeah.
And it's probably due to cultural practices like dairy farming.
Really?
Yeah, so it's kind of a cool example of how that can actually drive genetic adaptation.
So our genes are like, all right, we're going to adapt to this new diet. That's awesome. Okay, let's talk about something I think we've all thought about. Height.
Oh, yeah.
Why are we the height we are? Like, is that all in our genes?
It's actually influenced by hundreds of genes, believe it or not.
Each with a small effect. But our environment plays a role too. Like your nutrition during childhood can really impact how tall you grow.
Mm-hmm.
And they're even finding links between height and socioeconomic factors.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. So it's just adding another layer of complexity
Oh, for sure.
to the whole height thing.
It's nature and nurture all wrapped up in one.
Definitely.
All right, so get ready for a little taste test here. Have you ever tasted something that was super bitter
Yeah.
and like your friend's like, I don't even taste anything?
Oh, like PTC.
Yeah, PTC.
Yeah.
That bitter compound. So what's going on there?
That's a classic example of genetic variation. It all comes down to this gene, TAS2R38.
Okay.
Some individuals, they find PTC intensely bitter.
Mm-hmm.
Others can't taste it at all.
It's so strange.
It's amazing.
It's like we all have, like, personalized taste buds.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about something a little more uh, serious, I guess. Susceptibility to diseases. How do our genes play into how likely we are to get sick?
Well, our genes can have variants that make us more or less susceptible to certain diseases,
Right.
like cystic fibrosis, sickle cell anemia, or some types of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
But, and this is important,
Okay.
genes aren't necessarily destiny.
Okay, that's good.
Right.
You hear that a lot. So just because you have a gene that makes you more susceptible, it doesn't mean
Johnny Garen.
you're going to get it.
Right. Lifestyle, environment, access to healthcare, all those things play a huge role.
Gotcha.
So, for example, BRCA gene mutations,
Yeah.
those can increase the risk of breast cancer. But lifestyle choices and early detection can really make a huge difference in how things turn out.
Knowledge is power
Yeah.
in that case. All right, let's talk about our immune system, our own little personal army that
Yes.
fights off all the bad stuff that's out there. So how do our genes shape this?
So, our immune system is super intricate, and genes in something called the HLA complex play a key role. There are thousands of variations in these genes.
Wow.
And basically, they help our immune cells figure out what's our own cells and what's a foreign invader.
Gotcha. So do variations in these genes, does that make us more or less susceptible to, like, infections or even autoimmune disorders?
Yes, exactly. So, for example, some HLA variants are associated with a higher risk of developing type 1 diabetes
Okay.
or rheumatoid arthritis. Understanding these connections can actually help us develop more personalized medicine and targeted therapies.
It's like a customized health plan written
It is.
right there in your DNA.
Yeah.
Okay, lastly, let's talk about fingerprints. We all know everyone's are unique.
Yeah.
So what's the genetic story behind that?
It's actually a super complex interplay of genetic and environmental factors that happens during fetal development. We don't know all the specific genes involved yet, but we do know that these patterns are so unique that they're used for identification all over the world.
Yeah, they are.
It's pretty wild.
It's crazy to think that even just the little ridges on our fingertips are influenced by our genes. So, wow, this has been a lot. What would you say is the biggest takeaway from all of this?
I think the biggest takeaway is that this variation, it's what makes humans so resilient and adaptable.
It makes sense.
It's really a beautiful tapestry of differences
I like that.
that contribute to, humanity. But beyond that, I think understanding our own genetic variations can empower us to make informed decisions about our health,
Yeah.
our lifestyle, and even just like understanding our place in evolution.
That's a really good point. It makes me think about all the mysteries that our genes still hold, right? And all the potential for personalized medicine and things like that.
Absolutely.
Wow, what a journey. Well, I think that's about all the time we have today.
This was great.
I know, so much fun. But listener, we want to hear from you. What genetic variation are you most curious about?
Yeah.
Why? Explore that. Go do some research. Delve a little deeper into your own genetic story.
That's what it's all about.
And we will see you all next time.
See you then. Bye.